When you open your inbox, you see your messages appear in the order in which they were received. So the messages at the top of my list are the ones that I received the most recently. But it doesn't necessarily mean that those are the most important messages. When I get hundreds of messages a day, it's often hard to filter between the important messages and the unimportant messages. That's where priority inbox comes in. Here's an example of a priority inbox. When I select priority inbox, I see my important messages at the top, and then my starred messages, and then everything else. So when I open my inbox on a Monday morning, I know which messages to concentrate on and which messages I can take a look at later that day. To enable priority inbox, select your mail settings, then choose the priority inbox tab. Select the radio button by Show Priority Inbox. If you don't see Priority Inbox showing up on the left, it means that you have this radio button selected. So I'll choose Show Priority Inbox, and then I need to decide which inbox to open when my mailbox opens. So when I first sign in, I can either look at Priority Inbox or just Inbox. So I'll click Save Changes. So when I first log into Gmail, I'll just go to my inbox, and then I can choose Priority Inbox to look at my Priority Inbox. So I've got some messages here that are marked as important. How did Google Mail know that these were important messages? Well, you do need to spend a few weeks teaching Gmail about what types of messages are important and which senders are important. So what you do is when you read a message, you can either mark it as not important, or you can mark it as important. Important messages will have a yellow flag to the right of the message. If this message is actually not important, I'll select it and choose not important. And Gmail will start learning after a few weeks which messages are important and which are not important. So I have these different sections of my mailbox, and I can change these sections. So if instead of important, you want important and unread at the top, choose important and unread. Right here, I have starred messages. One of my time management techniques is that when I have to take an action on a message, I will star it. Now that message appears in the starred section, but you may have a different section that you want to appear here. Maybe you just want to see unread messages. So now I have unread messages here, starred messages here, and everything else down here. You can further configure this by going into your mail settings, choose priority inbox, and now for each section, you can determine how many items you want to show. 5, 10, 25, or 50. I'll just point something out here that when you're in the priority inbox, you can always click More here to see the rest of the messages in this category. Going back into my priority inbox settings, I can also choose to hide this section when empty. So why waste your time thinking about a section of messages when there's nothing there? Go ahead and hide the section when empty, and you'll only see that section in your inbox when you have new mail there. Or you can decide to remove this section altogether. So maybe I don't want this unread section. I'll just choose Remove Section. Make sure you save your changes. Now back in my priority inbox, I no longer have that section. So this is how priority inbox works. And you can also create rules to set certain messages as important. And those rules can be set up in your filter settings. So we'll go to Mail Settings. I'll choose Filters. So I'm going to create a new filter, and I'm going to say whenever I get a message from Pam Weber, I can put her first and last name, or I can put her email address here. Let's do a test search to see what comes up. Okay, here are some of my messages from Pam. We'll select Next Step. And what I want to do here is I want to always mark this as important. So this is a filter that always marks messages from Pam as important. You can also select Never Mark it as important. So I'll go and apply this filter to the 40 conversations below, and I'll create this filter. Now, whenever I get a message from Pam, that will instantly go into my important section of my priority inbox. So if I were just to select important, if I had a message from Pam in my inbox, it would be here in the important section. So the priority inbox is a tool you can use with an existing time management and email management strategy. So it's not necessarily a strategy in itself, but if you have a strategy where you divide messages into important and non-important and starred items, you can use this priority inbox as a tool to help you with that time management system. So priority inbox is not a time management method in itself, but it's a tool you can use with an existing time management method. So if you already have a method in which you mark certain messages as important and star certain messages, this is a great tool to use in conjunction with that strategy.